So have two different files here. This is Dollar Tree on the old sheet and Dollar Tree on the new sheet. Just going to cover some of the differences between the two. You can see here primarily on the dashboard, the biggest update we have is on the old version of the sheet, we have LP and GP sections. Over here on the new sheet, we have the project section, which is previously over here. We have a tick section, which is not filled out by default. Here we would just plug in the tick investment amount to have it apply. And then we have the syndication piece below that with the GP and asset piece below that. So really the only net change here is just breaking up the sections for project, syndication, and GP and LP into different sections, as well as adding the tick section in here. Without the tick section, everything else is nearly identical. We have a tick performance section. If this was just not here, you're looking at nearly one-to-one identical change. Hold on, this is in the way here. You can see over here, it's just color coded, to match. So LP performance versus tick performance that didn't previously exist, and then your GP asset performance here broken down. So really that's the only net change on this front page. The other thing here is previously, this has actually happened a couple months ago, but we had talked about having a contingency for CapEx and OpEx, and the CapEx contingency was previously on the CapEx page. So while it's still listed here, the percentage that it's set at is not. It is listed up here on this page as opposed to on the previous sheet being, up here. And that's just so it's centralized with all the other settings. OpEx contingency is basically taking a monthly reoccurring percentage of operating expenses and then deducting it, right here actually it is pre-raising it. So let's see here. So OpEx contingency is taking the percentage, so in this case it's 2.5%. It is taking that for every month of the entire deal, so 2.5% of the 22,190 times 60 months, and it is collecting it in advance to be used in the event we need to use it. In this case, it's not a whole lot because OpEx isn't huge, but this is mainly designed to cover some additional OpEx overrun up front. Let's see, so that was added to the front sheet here. I think exit cap previously here was a typed in number by default. Exit cap here is, I believe on the template, it is entry cap plus 0.5. In this case, that didn't work, so it still had to be overridden. I think that's all still the same. Going over to the debt sheet, the other major change here is just the formatting of this. So previously it looked like this, which is a little cleaner, but it caused a lot of issues when you're dealing with formulas where the formula for the sheet calculates, each of these in a vertical column, but then in a horizontal display. So over here you can see we're referencing, these cells, and what I was finding is a lot of bugs would pop up because I would correct one and then the other reference would be wrong. So you can see here we have the loan breakdown on this sheet for each loan. So really what's changed here is on the MCF, you can see debt service is just one line, right? Shortens the total, P&L statement a little bit. But then it's broken down over here, which again, I do know it's a bit harder to look at, but it makes more sense from an Excel formula standpoint. We've got, each of the things broken down over here. We've got title fees, we have the reserves, which deplete, and then reserves, which are held. So again, we experienced this on the growth. We now have lines to handle, money that we are raising up front that is depleting month over month. And then this is money that will not be returned until the end of this specific debt service cycle. And then all the details for this are broken down on each line. So loan one shows you all the details over here. That's not really different. The biggest difference again is that it's on the same sheet. So the debt data is on the same sheet as opposed to being not on the same sheet here, which dealt with a lot of flipping back and forth as well to try to find and fix errors. So just kind of cleans that up a little bit. Here on, let me see if we have cash flow here. So this change was also a couple of months ago, but Previously, we had the waterfall on the annual table only. While this worked in the past, it did not work for the new syndication tracking sheet. So it required us to track quarters, and to track quarters, we can't just see that data here, so we have to waterfall it on the monthly level. So what we did is we took the waterfall that was on the annual table and duplicated it to the monthly table, so it calculates monthly first and then rolls up to the annual. Now, this is split between two different values because we had previously talked about having returns for the LP based on just operating metrics versus LP returns for the entire deal, so not just operational but exit. That split happened up here so that you have operational distributions as well as total. So this includes the exit versus this not including the exit. That was an important fact that LPs were wanting to see, how much of the deal was being based on the exit only. So that's broken down now. And then I did try to color code this a little bit. It's not great. I understand it's a lot to look at. But we have the operational waterfall and then the post-exit waterfall. And because we added that tick piece in here, you have pre-exit cash flow happening. The tick distribution comes off the top. Then this goes to remaining distribute. And then we go down the waterfall. And so we finish the entire operational waterfall before we hit the post-exit waterfall to calculate all those. And we have the totals for post-exit, total for total LP distributions, and total for pre-operational distributions up here. So again, that's what rolls up and feeds all of this data here, and we see on the front page. Let's see. I think that's it. Nothing else really changed aside from some color coding and stuff, theme changes. Yeah, I think that probably covers everything.